Coming up on Ag Week TV, the ethanol industry is hit with yet another devastating court decision. We'll tour an award-winning regenerative operation in East Central South Dakota.
We'll visit 2 ag businesses that are dedicated to staying in rural North Dakota.
The number of female ag teachers is on the rise, and a farmer develops an inexpensive grain bin management technology. Welcome to Ag Week TV. I'm Michelle Rook. In the course of a week, the biofuels industry has been hit with 2 disappointing court rulings that could negatively impact its future growth. First was the June 27th Supreme Court ruling on small refinery exemptions. Then on July 2nd, the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals reversed a 2019 rule by the EPA that lifted outdated restrictions on the sale of E15. That case was a challenge by oil refiners. The court said in its 19-page opinion that the Reed Vapor Pressure Waiver rule doesn't apply to E15, even though the Trump administration declared it to be similar to E10. Biofuels groups are disappointed. However, it does not apply to the 2021 summer driving season.
Now, it really doesn't change anything as far as sales for the next 45 days. We've got time to make a decision of how we want to proceed in defending the E15 usage.
Biofuels groups are in the process of deciding if they'll appeal the decision, plus they're pushing for a permanent legislative fix. Soil health is a buzzword, especially with the Biden administration's push for climate change policy. But I'm here at a prominent South Dakota operation that has been sequestering carbon for over 30 years. The Johnson family farms near Frankfort and has won numerous awards for their conservation and regenerative production practices. The latest was being named a regional NCBA Environmental Stewardship Award finalist. The South Dakota Soil Health Coalition held a field day on their farm this week to display these practices, such as using cover crops like rye and planting beans in the stubble after grazing or termination.
It all works together. It all plays into the next year together. And so that's really our mentality, is just having that holistic management approach.
Brian says these practices have helped their operation be more resilient to this year's drought.
In order to get through these dry years, you have to have the water is stored up in the soil. And so by having a healthy living soil that has pore space, you can essentially get through these tough times.
They also seed corn and soybeans into wheat stubble and have corrected saline areas in wheat fields through planting forage barley followed by a cover crop. They've established grass waterways and have planted trees in pasture strips. Jamie even has a no-till garden. Like many around the region, this week's crop stop finds the Acre farm in need of rain. Larry Acre and his son Steve grow corn and soybeans near Wabash, South Dakota. They also background feed cattle in the winter and sell them in the spring. He says they've only received about half of normal rainfall this summer, but so far his crops and pastures are hanging on.
Well, we got about 4 inches real early in April. We just kind of started putting the crop in and waited a couple weeks then to go again. And since then, I think we've maybe had 3 inches.
Akers says the worst drought year he can remember is 1976. So far this year isn't nearly as bad as that, although he says wind has caused significant soil erosion. The dry conditions are keeping crop insurance adjusters busy. With a general drought and only occasional rains, crop insurance clients are weighing whether to keep cereal crops for a reduced grain crop or whether they're likely to make more money taking it for a forage. Frank Schockert works in northeast South Dakota. He says in a normal year he would only do 2 or 3 appraisals on small grains, but this year he's been doing about 4 a day. He says yield calculations vary widely around the region. He's seeing oats as low as 3 bushels an acre with averages around 20.
We're looking at some oats and wheat that farmers are worried that they probably aren't going to be yielding enough to justify harvesting. They got cattle. Alfalfa crop was about a half a crop on the first cutting, and they're worried about getting feed for cattle. He says at this point the corn and soybeans still look pretty good. A South Dakota farmer wanted a remote grain bin fan system, but he didn't want to pay $80,000 for it, so he built his own for a fraction of the cost. Adam Eilers farms about 4,000 acres near Presho. His crops include winter wheat, spring wheat, sunflowers, and soybeans. He says he got tired of forgetting to turn off his aeration, especially in the middle of the night.
He found a system online that has components designed to control humidity in homes and adapted it to his grain bins. Eilers built it himself for just $100.
I always wanted a way to be able to turn off the fans from a smartphone. I looked into it. It would cost about $8,000 to do a system. I have 10 bins in a row. $80,000 is what it would cost. And I thought there has to be an easier way to get this done.
Eilers has an engineering background. He built the system last year, but has added some improvements this year, including a temperature monitor for air being removed from the grain bins. The Federal Trade Commission has voted to strengthen enforcement of the Made in the U.S. standard. It requires all meat and meat products to be 100% born, raised, and slaughtered in the U.S. to qualify for the Product of the USA label. USDA will also hold rulemaking to address concerns that the voluntary Product of USA label may confuse consumers about the origin of meat products regulated by FSIS. A new beef processing plant has been announced in western Iowa. It will be located around 15 miles south of the Council Bluffs, Omaha area. A group called Cattlemen's Heritage plans to build the $325 million facility with a daily capacity of 1,500 head. Construction begins in the spring of 2022 with plans to open by late 2023. Coming up on Ag Week TV, a small-town ag business stays close to its roots.
Superior Grain Equipment offers you the industry's best dryer and grain handling equipment. So make the superior choice and get higher quality grains, test weights, and prices while using half the energy. Superior Grain Equipment.
Challenges. We all face them at some time. But it seems that ag has seen its fair share over the past few years. Has your farming operation been able to stand the challenges? If not, maybe it's time to talk to the risk management specialist at Martinson Ag. We can help you make the sound decisions to help your operation weather the storm. Martinson Ag, your one-stop shop for crop insurance, livestock insurance, and marketing. We are here to take your operation to the next level.
At North Star Ag, we're more than your short-line machinery dealer. We're also full service, and we're farmers first. That means we know it's not about what's best, but what's best for your farm. Whether you're planting, growing, or harvesting, we're there for all your equipment, parts, and service needs. And we've been doing it since 2009, with the largest inventory and availability in the area. Check us out at northstar-ag.com or call us at 701-361-4790.
I'm Peter Bosch. I've been working with Gateway Building Systems for a little over 20 years now. I chose Gateway Building Systems to build my shop because I wanted a building that could both be used for my equipment and as a place for my family to hang out and do things. I would advise anybody that's thinking about working with Gateway to go in and talk to the guys there, tell them your plans and your future dreams, and let them design something for you.
Superior Grain Equipment is committed to quality and service. Protect your bottom line and your future with superior quality, protection, and reliability. Make the superior choice today with Superior Grain Equipment.
We're going to talk today about a revolutionary auto steer product that you guys have developed.
We back one of these things in, it'll drain a 40-acre patch just within hours.
What can you tell us about what dairy farmers do to make sure that their animals are happy?
Their care is our primary concern.
Is there still time for producers to get storage bins up?
Absolutely. We still can definitely get something up and ready for corn harvest.
Welcome back. A longtime ag company is determined to keep its rural North Dakota and Minnesota roots. Emily Beal has more on AgVise research and laboratories and this week's Ag Week cover story.
We just started with an old tractor, many shovels.
In 1976, Susan Lloyd's husband, Dr. Edward Lloyd, left his job at NDSU to open an ag consulting company and research farm in Northwood, North Dakota. Shortly after that, he also opened a lab, which provided plant analysis for crop consultants and fertilizer retailers. Edward died in 2019, but Susan says his vision lives on.
He was always in deep thought. He researched it. He thought about it. And then he acted.
Over the years, the Lloyds' children and grandchildren joined the business, and in 1994, part of the company became employee-owned. Susan's son Edward was a police officer before coming back to join the company.
I love the fact that we can do a variety of things. It definitely is kind of the spice of life, I think.
Corey Zimbrick grew up near Northwood and was happy to get a job as an AgVise computer programmer 5 years ago.
I think that a lot of people who grew up in small towns would love to be able to come back, and work in a small town, use their degree, use their education, and come back and, improve where they grew up.
It hasn't been easy. The business was destroyed by a fire in 1996 and a tornado in 2007, but they rebuilt both times.
We really are committed to Northwood and the rural community that we're in.
Though some ag-related businesses opt to move to larger cities, both AgVise Research and AgVise Laboratories are dedicated to planting their roots in rural North Dakota. With Ag Week, I'm Emily Beal in Northwood, North Dakota.
AgVise has a second location in Benson, Minnesota. You can read more in the next Ag Week magazine or at agweek.com. There's a shortage of ag education teachers across the U.S., so many schools that would like to have an ag program and FFA chapter are not able to. But North Dakota is bucking that trend, due in part to a fast-growing number of women teaching ag. Rose Dunn talked to several ag teachers who are also new moms at the state FFA convention.
2-month-old Emily Zaradka won't remember her first FFA convention, but her mom Molly says it won't be her last. Emily is one of about a dozen babies born this year to North Dakota ag teachers. That baby boom is due in part to a boom in female ag teachers in the state.
And I think with a rise in women ag teachers, like with one comes the other, there's going to be more babies at the same time. So it's kind of fun that they'll all get to come to events together, and then when they're grown up, they'll be competing against each other.
Molly Zaradka started the ag program in Grafton 5 years ago. In fact, 49% of the state's ag teachers are women. That's up from 1 or 2 just a few decades ago.
It's just a family.
Macy Kleinian is happy to have her 2-month-old son Noah with her at the state convention. Although she grew up on a farm, she planned to teach English until she found out there was much more call for ag teachers.
I can't imagine myself being anywhere else than teaching agriculture in North Dakota. We have such a great community of ag teachers. They were so helpful in planning my maternity leave even.
Maggie's been coming to school. This is like day 10 of Maggie school.
Oaks ag teacher and new mom to Maggie, Anna Kemmer, agrees that support from their schools and students as they juggle teaching and parenting duties has been vital to their success at both. And Kemmer says while there are still some stereotypes to overcome, there's room for more women in ag classrooms.
Right, I think women in ag are definitely better perceived coming through the years here now, but it's something we just had to put our heads down and keep going and keep pushing forward and encouraging that younger generation of women in agriculture to keep going. Good job, Emmy, you stayed asleep the whole time.
In Fargo, this is Rose Dunn for Ag Week.
Ahead on Ag Week TV, we'll tell you about some new ag technology designed to make your spraying more efficient. And later, weather takes a toll on the strawberry crop this year.
This is Dennis Beliski reminding you we do auctions and we do them well. You've built your operation with hard work, and when it's time to sell, all or part, you deserve the best. Details from repairs and preparation to promotion and settlements are not routine. Chances are you'll only do this once, so we'll tailor an auction just for you and get it done right. On-site at your farm or added to one of our highly successful Alaris Center auctions, we have the skill, reputation, and integrity to meet your needs with best-in-class commitment and quality service. Find us at resourceauction.com or call 701-757-4015.
Don't miss out on the equipment you'll need next season. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer, has early order discounts on its full line of powerful, efficient, new Case IH equipment, including tractors, combines, and self-propelled sprayers. Get a great deal and ensure that you have the latest in productivity and technology. Supply chains are tight. Contact your Titan Machinery dealership today and find out how much you can save by ordering ahead. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH equipment experts.
Challenges. We all face them at some time. But it seems that ag has seen its fair share over the past few years. Has your farming operation been able to stand the challenges? If not, maybe it's time to talk to the risk management specialist at Martinson Ag. We can help you make the sound decisions to help your operation weather the storm. Martinson Ag, your one-stop shop for crop insurance, livestock insurance, and marketing. We are here to take your operation to the next level.
Add more bushels to your hopper and money to your pocket by harnessing the power of air with Crary Wind Systems.
Whether your beans are chest high or barely off the ground, Prairie offers two solutions that add a constant stream of high-velocity air to quickly feed crop back to the auger, eliminating bunching, reducing shatter loss, and increasing your ground speed. Don't let crop conditions dictate your yield. Check out the Prairie Air Reel or Prairie Wind system today.
Go beyond the headlines with an Ag Week membership. Get in-depth agribusiness reporting, original farm and ranch stories, and fact-based research for the most comprehensive ag news in the upper Midwest. Experienced ag journalists bring you exclusive ag news, insights, and policy updates you won't find anywhere else. Become a member today and get unlimited access to Ag Week and AgweekTV.
The Northwestern Corn Belt got some much-needed rain this week, accompanied by cooler temperatures. Will there be any follow-up? Here's John with our Agri-Weather Outlook.
The general weather outlook across the northern plains and upper Midwest and southern parts of Canada over the next couple of weeks. Not a lot of great news for agriculture. The hot weather is likely to continue. There will likely not be enough rain to continue to keep up with the hot temperatures. Not saying it's going to be 96 degrees every day, but a lot of heat, not very much rain, and you can expect the drought conditions to worsen. Obviously, not over 100% of the area. In fact, to that end, let's take a look at the Drought Monitor, the U.S. Drought Monitor. Now, this is more reflective of the deep moisture profile, so this is long-term needs. This is not necessarily immediately direct short-term crop needs, but you can see a definite northern plains upper Midwest region that is very dry. A lot of severe drought here across central and northern Iowa, a lot of extreme and exceptional drought up into the Dakotas. The worst drought in the region, the deepest, driest soils are in north central North Dakota, but it's been an extremely dry year, and frankly, it's actually been drier this summer in north central Iowa than it has been in most of North Dakota. It's just that the overall drought situation longer term is worse up in the north. Meanwhile, the southwestern part of the country, you think of this as desert, it's not. Obviously, a lot of this is mountainous as well. The drought continues here as well and in many parts of California, which will have impacts not only on the fire season, but on the agricultural season next year. So what's the weather going to do with this? Unfortunately, I am expecting this ridge of high pressure at the jet stream level to likely increase itself a little bit as we go through the week, and that's going to bring some warm to hot conditions. A lot of the days are going to be in the 80s and 90s, and when you see the red, expect temperatures getting up into the 90s into the region. Iowa East, it won't be so bad. A lot of 80s through here, fairly comfortable weather. But the Great Plains look quite hot. Pacific Northwest not as bad over this week and next week, but the hot weather in the Central Plains is expected to just basically stick around. Now, there will be some troughiness, but it will never be permanent. The heat will likely continue to build back. So over the next 2 weeks, look for warmer than average temperatures and some very hot days into the northern and central plains. Fairly typical summer weather in the Midwest. Temperature-wise. So what do we get out of the precipitation? What's happening there as the heat lingers here through July in the north? Well, the Corn Belt areas, especially the eastern and southern parts, will likely continue to be wet. Back in through Iowa, it will continue to be fairly wet in eastern Iowa and fairly dry in northwestern Iowa. And across the northern plains, probably little to no rain except for maybe that stray thunderstorm chance, and it'll be like that throughout the Rocky Mountains. And the similar thing for the second week, not much change in the overall pattern, which means not very much rain for much of the Great Plains.
At Trans-Systems, every day is a great day to haul beets. Our family-owned business moves more beets than anyone in the world. We enjoy good work and good pay, and many of us have been here for decades because it's a place where our opinions are heard and our accomplishments are seen. We're your home every day and can take summers off. Here, our safety and yours matter most. Trans-Systems, a sweet haul in the Red River Valley since 1983.
Steffes Group, selling land and the equipment to farm it since 1960. If you're interested in selling or have questions about our auction process, head to our website at steffesgroup.com to contact us at any one of our 4 locations located throughout the Midwest. You can also visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel to view all of our auction previews and recaps to stay up to date on the market in your area.
Don't miss out on the equipment you'll need next season. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH dealer, has early order discounts on its full line of powerful, efficient, new Case IH equipment, including tractors, combines, and self-propelled sprayers. Get a great deal and ensure that you have the latest in productivity and technology. Supply chains are tight. Contact your Titan Machinery dealership today and find out how much you can save by ordering ahead. Titan Machinery, your local Case IH equipment experts.
Hi, neighbor! I know you didn't ask me to, but I grabbed your mail for you while you were out of town. This one was marked urgent, so I opened it for you. It's your bank statement. Are all those charges right? I highlighted the bottom of page 3 where you can sign up for e-statements.
This isn't my mail.
E-statements with Cornerstone Bank. Keep nosy neighbors at bay by switching today.
For Ag Week, this is Mikkel Pates at Watertown, South Dakota.
We'll look at the positive impacts that dairy can have on the community.
A Minnesota couple has put a grain bin to a new use. Spoiler alert, it's not grain.
This elaborate system of tubing with the downhill slope is how Maplewood State Park gathers sap to make syrup.
Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of Ag Week TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Spraying is one of the most important jobs on the farm, but it can also be one of the trickiest. As Rose Dunn shows us, a Fargo Ag Tech company is about to unveil a breakthrough in spray technology.
Joining us now is Joe Heilman with Intelligent Ag in Fargo, and today we're going to talk about one of the most important jobs on the farm. Would you say spraying?
Yeah, spraying. I mean, it's such a critical piece to modern agriculture. It's one of the most commonly used machines on the farm today. It's devilishly difficult to understand if you have any kind of performance problems at the nozzle, because typically the only tool we have today is to visually check.
But Intelligent Ag has been working on that.
Yeah, we've been studying this issue for the last 3 or 4 years, really try to understand if it really matters, and we're actually going to have an event on July 22nd where we have about 160 different plot areas where we're studying the effect of nozzle performance on the efficacy of different chemicals and fertilizer applications. So come on out with us the afternoon of July 22nd at 1:30. We're going to have kind of interactive demonstrations. We're going to take you through plot tours and then present to you and announce a new solution that we're coming up with to help manage spray quality.
And what are some of the challenges around droplet size management?
Yeah, so I think when you look at these charts from these nozzle manufacturers, in a lot of cases, every nozzle tip itself can produce between 4 and 5 droplet size ranges. What we're trying to do is help give you real-time information of the performance of your nozzles so that you can understand all the decisions you're making when you're operating that piece of machinery. What impact is it having on my spray quality performance?
Farmers spend a lot of money on spray. You want to make sure that it's effective.
That's right. Yeah, we want to make sure that your spray applications are getting done to the absolute best of your abilities, and we're going to have a new solution to help you manage that.
All right. Thanks, Joe Heilman, joining us today with Intelligent Ag.
This new technology will be unveiled on July 22nd at the Grand Farm south of Fargo. You can attend virtually or in person. Go to sprayontarget.com to register. A former Ag Secretary is now an author. Dan Glickman talks about his new book after this.
You can get the field results you want in varying conditions with the flexibility of the Summers VRT Renegade. Featuring on-the-fly blade angle adjustment from 0 to 19 degrees. And if you want the simplicity of a super coulter with the ability to move a little dirt, you'll love the all-new Summers Super Coulter Samurai. Go to summersmfg.com or visit your local dealer to learn more about North America's broadest line of tillage equipment and other products from North Dakota-based Summers Manufacturing.
At North Star Ag, we're more than your short-line machinery dealer. We're also full service, and we're farmers first. That means we know it's not about what's best, but what's best for your farm. Whether you're planting, growing, or harvesting, we're there for all your equipment, parts, and service needs. And we've been doing it since 2009, with the largest inventory and availability in the area. Check us out at northstar-ag.com or call us at 701-361-4790.
Add more bushels to your hopper and money to your pocket by harnessing the power of air with Prairie wind systems. Whether your beans are chest high or barely off the ground, Prairie offers two solutions that add a constant stream of high-velocity air to quickly feed crop back to the auger, eliminating bunching, reducing shatter loss, and increasing your ground speed. Don't let crop conditions dictate your yield. Check out the Prairie Air Reel or Prairie Wind System today.
Hi, neighbor! I know you didn't ask me to, but I grabbed your mail for you while you were out of town. This one was marked urgent, so I opened it for you. It's your bank statement. Are all those charges right? I highlighted the bottom of page 3 where you can sign up for e-statements.
This isn't my mail.
E-statements with Cornerstone Bank. Keep nosy neighbors at bay by switching today.
For Ag Week, this is Mikkel Pates at Watertown, South Dakota.
We'll look at the positive impacts that dairy can have on the community.
A Minnesota couple has put a grain bin to a new use. Spoiler alert, it's not grain.
This elaborate system of tubing with the downhill slope is how Maplewood State Park gathers sap to make syrup.
Thanks for joining us for this week's edition of Ag Week TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com or follow us on Facebook and Twitter as well. Former U.S. Ag Secretary Dan Glickman has a new book out detailing his years in Washington and beyond. Glickman, a Democrat, represented Kansas in the U.S. House for 18 years. He served as U.S. Ag Secretary from 1995 to 2001 in the Clinton administration. Glickman wasn't raised on a farm, but he says his success on the Ag Committee and as Secretary comes from an ability to listen, communicate ideas, and to compromise. The book is called Laughing at Myself: My Education in Congress, on the Farm, and at the Movies. He says he's concerned about increasing partisanship in politics and consolidation in ag, but he says there are positive trends as well.
In the last couple, 2 or 3 years, there are actually more smaller farmers coming into the business of agriculture. There's a lot of innovation and entrepreneurship in agriculture. The farm bills have been changed a bit to allow more flexibility in planting decisions.
Glickman went on to be CEO of the Motion Picture Association of America. It's been a tough year for many crops in the region, including strawberries. In fact, some U-pick strawberry farms in the region were not able to open this year. Chris and Cordell Hipsch owns Otterberry Farm in Ottertail County, Minnesota. They also run a diversified crop farm. A Memorial Weekend freeze and then an early stretch of extreme heat cut their crop by 40%, so they're happy to have a crop at all. But they did have to shorten the number of days they were open to the public this year.
We're just really thankful that we did have, somewhat of a crop, and that, we can still provide stuff for people, and, we'll be here next year.
Otterberry Farms also offers a corn maze and pumpkin patch in the fall. Thanks for watching this week's edition of Ag Week TV. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com, or you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have yourself a great and safe week.